Hi everyone, this is Dave and welcome to the Q&A session for Tuesday the 8th of March 2011. Now, a very quick mention to a few people I want to give some shout outs to. First of all, Mr. Tybox123, please do check out Adam's channel. There's some great content on there and some great giveaways too. Also a big shout out to Mquan, absolutely fantastic guy. Again, some great content over on Mquan's channel, so please do check that out too. And the last shout out to John for Lakers. I've been just so amazed at how genuine John is. He's offered me some great advice over the past few months, spent some time with me on that interview that appeared on the channel, so please do check out John for Lakers channel as well. Now, this particular video is the Q&A session for Tuesday 8th of March. Now, it used to appear on the Geekanoids channel, so my Q&A sessions used to be on youtube.com/geekanoids, but I've moved them across to the DailyTechTV channel just to make more room for content over on the Geekanoids channel. I want to keep that all reviews really if I can. So if you want to catch the previous Q&A sessions, you need to pop on over to the Geekanoids channel, and all of the future Q&A sessions from today onwards will appear on DailyTechTV. Now, before I get on with the questions, which are coming from my last video, which was 22nd of February, just a very quick update for you. Now, I normally do these Q&A sessions every 2 weeks. I am working on a project that I'll be announcing probably in about a month's time, and I just will not have time to do the Q&A session in a fortnight's time. So my apologies for that. The next Q&A session will be in the first week of April. So first week of April for the next Q&A session. There's just no way I'm going to have time to do one in between, so big apologies. I know everyone likes it, but if your question isn't answered in this video, please do still post it in the comments and I will try and answer it in the next Q&A session. So anyway, on with this Q&A session, and as you all know, I don't rehearse any of these, so I'm just going to scan through the questions and answer as many as I can. So the first one, without further ado, is from Heineken100. What do you think about the new MacBook Pros? Well, as we all know, Apple recently launched their MacBook Pros with some great new technology in them. The processor speeds went up a great deal. Absolutely fantastic. You can now get a MacBook Pro with a quad-core processor in it. That is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe the performance that these MacBook Pros now deliver. And they also introduced the new port on the side, which doubles as like a display port connector, and also this light peak technology, which they're calling Thunderbolt. Just phenomenal speed increase on that particular port. Now, we obviously got to wait until some devices filter through to take advantage of it, but the potential is absolutely awesome. So very good update, and thank you very much for asking that question. Next one is from the Techie DJ. Has anyone ever recognized you when you've been out and about? In answer to that question, yes. It is a weird feeling. I never ever thought that I would get recognized. Now, I went actually on holiday to Cambridge with the family, probably about 8 to 10 months ago, something like that. And somebody did call out to me in the street and came over and introduced themselves. And probably on about another dozen occasions I've had people stop me and say, hey, you're Davo Mr. Mac, or hey, you're the geek from Geekanoids. And also a lot of stares where people probably don't want to approach me. So if you do recognise me on the street, I'm just a regular guy. But by all means say hello. If you want to talk about tech, you'll probably get my attention. So in answer to your question, yes, I do get recognised, and it is a very strange feeling. Next one. So, from gaming since 1997, I've recently been wanting a new computer of about £800 to spend and wants to do gaming, but don't know what to buy. I could get a Mac Mini or a second-hand iMac Mac Pro, or I could just build a PC and run Mac OS X. What do you think I should get? I'm not spending more than £800 for gaming. Well, you keep mentioning gaming throughout that question. Now, if you were saying computer that I want to do the occasional gaming on, then I would say go for your option of getting a second-hand or a refurbished iMac or Mac Pro. Because you're really concentrating on the gaming front, I would build yourself a PC, stick a Core i7 in there. You're going to get it well below the £700 to £800 price mark, and I think if it's purely for gaming, then go along the PC route. You do mention in your question you'll build the PC and then run Mac OS X. Well, if that's your priority, then iMac or Mac Pro. I hope that helps, but it's a bit of a mixed question, so you need to really decide what you want to use the computer for. So great question, thank you very much for that. And the next question is from the iPodist. Dave, what's your PSN and do you own a gaming PC or Xbox? Well, I used to have the PC that I did in the PC build. I've no longer got that. And I do own a PS3 and an Xbox 360 as well. To be honest, I don't very often go onto the Xbox 360, mainly on the PS3, and you can probably guess the PSN, it's Davo Mr. Mac. So if you want to add me, just add in Davo Mr. Mac. I'll get so many friend requests, but if I can, I will add you in as a friend. So fantastic question. Now the next question is actually from Sean's Macintosh. Hey Dave, have you ever thought about streaming your tech Q&A videos live on Ustream? Because it would be cool and you wouldn't have to edit the videos, deleting scenes, etc. Also, you said you hated the double clicking of the home button on the iPad. Well, 4.3 is supposed to be able to use finger gestures to control the iPad. Also, what do you think Apple will announce? Quite a lot of questions there. Ustream. Excuse me. Ustream is something that I have done previously. I've done a few live streams. The reason I probably wouldn't go that way, and I'll be totally honest, is when I upload the videos to YouTube, that gives me a little bit of revenue stream, so I do get a little bit of money out of it. And if I started doing it on Ustream, I would lose that revenue for a start. It's not a lot of money, it's probably only about £3–4, something like that. But every penny counts, you know, so it does help that I put these up on YouTube, and it helps that they're popular and you guys take part, etc, etc. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, if I do Ustream, it's yet another thing I've got to do. I do obviously YouTube, Twitter, a little bit of Facebook, not a lot. I do Tumblr, I do the other channels, so I've got the 2 channels on YouTube. I do the website, I do my pen pick a day project now, which is a photo every day. Everything takes time, so doing Ustream would just be yet another thing I would have to actually do. So it's very unlikely, but I might do the odd streaming live for special events and things like that. It's really something I will look at doing in the future. Now, the other questions about the home button. Yep, absolutely hate the double clicking on the home button. Apple did recently hold the event for the iPad 2, and they went through a lot of the features of iOS 4.3, but didn't mention anything about gestures instead of using the home button. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. The next question is from, wow, there's loads here, from Beyonce fan 2382. Which of the 2 do you think would be a better purchase, a 3DS or an iPod Touch? I'd like both eventually, but not sure which one should be first. Well, the 3DS is obviously Nintendo's new 3D handheld gaming console. It's due out, I think it's already out in some countries, but it's due out 25th of March in the UK. If you're purely into gaming, then get the 3DS. If you want something that will do great games, email, internet browsing, music, video, then the iPod Touch is the obvious choice. So if it was me, I would buy the iPod Touch, and that's not just because I'm an Apple fanboy. Don't send in loads of emails and comments saying you would say the iPod Touch. As I said, if it's just for gaming and all you're interested in is gaming, then yeah, go for the 3DS, but an iPod Touch does so much more. So thanks very much for that question. Next one is from Tom Does Tech Reviews. Great username. Great video as usual, Dave. Presented really well. Great range of questions. Thank you very much. It's you guys who posed the questions, so I should be thanking you. I have a question. I'm looking to purchase my first Mac around May, June time, and it's between a Mac Mini or a white MacBook. Which one is better for basic video editing in iMovie, homework, surfing the internet and email? And when do you think either of these products will receive a refresh? Thanks. Well, specification wise, the Mac Mini and the white MacBook are more or less identical. So they're both going to be equally as capable for what you described for your iMovie, homework, surfing, etc. Which one you choose, I think you should decide whether you really want something that's tied to a monitor, like I've got behind me, so a desktop. In that case, get the Mac Mini. If you want something that's a little bit more flexible, then go for the white MacBook, because you can take that wherever you go. You can always get a desktop monitor and plug it into an external monitor if you want to do a lot of video editing, which might make the job a lot easier. With regards to refresh of these two, well, we just saw the MacBook Pros get a refresh, and I think it's pretty obvious that these two computers, the white MacBook and the Mac Mini, will both get a refresh pretty soon. I would expect it probably by around about mid-May time that we'll see these be upgraded with the new Thunderbolt port and also maybe a bump in processor speed as well. Me personally, I'm hoping that they put the Core i3 in there as a minimum, make a great little Mac Mini or MacBook computer. So very valid question and good luck with your purchase. The next one is from Close Up Magic Tricks. Will you ever review the Sony NGP? Very quick answer, yes I will. I'm going to get my hands on one of those to bring you a review. Next one is from the Zet Reviewer. Will you ever review a Hasselblad or Hasselblad camera? Doubtful, very doubtful. They're very high-end pieces of equipment and I doubt very much they would send me one. Next one is from Chucky Cheese Nuke. Great name again. Do you think it's worth getting a Milestone 2 as an upgrade from my Milestone 1? There is some more text in there about the Android 2.3 going on there. Well, it is quite a reasonable upgrade. So yeah, if you enjoyed your Milestone 1 and they're offering you perhaps a free upgrade to a Milestone 2, then I'll definitely get it. If you've got to pay for the upgrade, then maybe look at something else. Maybe it's time to change to a Samsung Galaxy or something like that. Next one, flashy reviews. What is your favourite camcorder? Well, I've only really got one favourite camcorder, and that's the one I'm recording on now. And that is the Panasonic SD700. I use it for all my reviews. You'll actually be seeing it featured in a video on the DailyTechTV channel really soon, where I show you what I use to make my videos. Absolutely stunning performer. I am looking at a Canon HFG10 at the moment as well, but the Panasonic is going to be hard to beat. So thank you very much for that question. Hi Dave from Largy 1964. Why do you think everyone wants cameras on devices, i.e. the iPad and all other tablets? And what's the point, as it would be very difficult to hold up and take a picture, video, etc. And would the ground open up and swallow you if the iPad 2 didn't have a camera? Well, this event's already taken place now, so we know the iPad 2 has got a front-facing and a rear-facing camera. I sort of agree with you about it being really awkward holding up these devices to take pictures and video. But having seen the iMovie app on the new iPad 2, I can see it just being so popular. People being able to take video and edit and upload very quickly, all on the same device. So I can see it being awkward, and I myself wasn't keen on really seeing the point of having the camera on there, but I've actually got excited about it now. I do look forward to it. If it didn't have a camera, yeah, it would still be a great device, but I think people just follow trends, and it's a big deal nowadays to get photos up onto Flickr, Tumblr, and get videos up onto YouTube and other video sharing sites as well. So I can see why the manufacturers are doing it, and consumers just love it, just absolutely love it. So I see your point, but it's going to happen anyway. The next one is from Chapel Matt. Would you recommend the Canon D550 or D600 as a first DSLR? Well, quick correction for you first. The D comes after the number, so it's a Canon 550D or 600D. As a first DSLR, absolutely superb choice. If your budget allows, then obviously go for the 600D. It's slightly newer. You get that flip out LCD monitor, which is great for if you're taking videos like I am now. I can flip my screen around and see myself recording on the camcorder. So yeah, out of the two, get the 600D if you can afford it. Next question from Luca94SD. What do you think about the Nikon D7000 DSLR camera? Absolutely stunning camera. It's really good for natural photography, and by that I mean the colours it reproduces in the photos seem to have a very sort of natural and pleasing look to them, a lot different to the colour tones in a Canon digital SLR. With regards to video, the D7000 also does this continual autofocus while recording, so if you're moving closer and further away from the camera or your subject's moving around, it will continually try and focus in on it. In the reviews I've seen it's a little bit hit and miss on the continual autofocus, but it does perform very well. So yeah, it's a good camera. I think if your priority is photos, then I would go Nikon D7000. If your priority is video, then I would go Canon 600D or 60D. So absolutely fantastic question. I really like the photography questions coming in, so keep those coming in. Next one, and time is ticking on. I'm only going to do this for about 20 minutes on each video, so let's get on with the next one. It's from Mark Sapolo. This is a fantastic video, thank you very much. I've already got my hotel ticket booked for Gadget Live show. Went last year, brilliant day, well worth it if you're into your tech and gadgets. Well, I'll be going for sure. I have a question. Do you think the iPhone 5 will have a 4-inch screen? And what do you think of all these 4-inch plus screens? Are they too big? Well, I think that possibly the iPhone 5 might have a larger screen and a thinner bezel around it. With the iPhone 5, I don't think there's a lot more they can do other than increase the speed and the graphics capability, maybe change around the UI a little bit. But yeah, I do think they might increase the screen size slightly. The 4-inch plus screens on all these devices, I don't think they're too big. I think 4-inch is about the maximum, maybe up to about 4.3, and then it starts going really into the tablet area. So yeah, I think they're all right. As long as the phone isn't too heavy and bulky, then why not? Next question is from EMD Clapton. Samsung Galaxy S or wait for the HTC Desire S? Thank you. Well, Samsung Galaxy S is soon to be superseded with the Samsung Galaxy S2. So I would rephrase your question, HTC Desire S or Samsung Galaxy S2, and I would choose the Samsung out of the two. It seems just a lot nicer screen. Maybe the battery might last a little bit longer. I sort of lost faith a little bit in the HTC Desire range. They're both good phones, but I would probably, if it was me paying my money, go for the Galaxy S2. Next one is from HD Helpsoft. What editing program do I use? Well, I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit all of my videos. So thank you very much for that question. Next question is from Choco Pangi. Please will you make a budget PC building guide? I will try and do that in the summer. It is my plan to do another PC build series, and I'll try and make it a budget guide as well. Next question is from HD Helpsoft again. Is there somebody else in Geekanoids? No, it's just me. I do actually, I'll rephrase that. It's me in the Geekanoids studio here, bringing you the videos. I do all of the videos and all of the editing, all of the uploading, all of the admin, arranging review products, etc. But I will give a big thank you. I do have some guest reviewers, and I'm not going to list them all here, but I do have many guest reviewers that help me by producing videos for the channel, so a big thank you to them, and it adds a good deal of variety to the videos, and you'll be seeing more guest reviews in the future. So now I'm going to move on to some of the questions I received via my iPhone application. There are plenty here, so again, apologies if I don't get through them all, but let's kick on with the questions. The first one is from Sylvain. This is a question about the HP products. What do you think about the new HP Palm Pre 3, the VIA and the HP touchpad, and any thoughts about Nokia using Windows Phone as their new OS? Well, HP Palm Pre, very interested in getting one in to review. I have got a video or two videos coming up about the Pre 2, which is a nice little mobile phone. The Palm VIA, not so interested in really, looks a little bit small. The HP touchpad, yeah, again, very interested in this. I like the look of the WebOS for using on tablet type devices. I'm using my iPad to read these questions, so very interested in the whole tablet thing, and definitely will be getting one in to have a play about with. So yeah, it's got good potential, and I hope HP make a success of it. The thoughts about Nokia using Windows Phone 7, well, I think it's a good move for Nokia. I think they made the right choice, because Symbian, I just didn't like it at all. It seemed very restrictive, and it wasn't a smartphone. It was a feature phone. It didn't do anything for me personally. Great handsets, they made some great hardware, but I think Nokia made the right decision by moving across and incorporating Windows Phone 7 into some of their future handsets. With regards to Windows Phone 7, that's a different story altogether. I think Microsoft really needs to get their finger out, and they did an awful update a couple of weeks back, had to pull the update down. They've now re-put it up there because it was bricking phones and locking things up, and just an awful scenario for them. But they've got so much potential with Windows Phone 7, and they just need to develop, push the boundaries with it, and give users updates. For goodness sake, Microsoft, you're on to something good, and then they just seem to be neglecting it again. So if it fails, tough. You know, they really should be putting more effort into Windows Phone 7. Anyway, rant over. Next one is from Billy. I need to buy a portable hard drive. Is there any brand you would recommend? Needs to be able to be used on both Windows and Mac at the same time. Well, any hard drive can be formatted so you can use it on both platforms. With regards to brand, I'm not loyal to any brand really. Every single hard drive you buy will fail at some time. It's not will it fail really, it's when will it fail should be the question. They've only got a certain amount of lifespan, hard drives. You might be lucky and get one that runs perfectly for 5-10 years, but it will fail eventually. So whatever brand you go for, do make sure you back up. With regards to what my favourites are, well, I do like Verbatim products. I think their mobile hard drives are really good. And I also reviewed the Hitachi G Technology G Drive Slim, and that was a beautifully made hard drive. So that's one to maybe have a look at if you want something that's a little bit special with regards to the enclosure and the build quality. So great question. Next one is from Jack Watson. What cases would you recommend for the original HTC Desire and the 2nd and 3rd gen iPod Touch? Well, no particular case, but I would recommend proporter.com. Do check out all of their cases. You can save 10% if you use the link that's on my website. That's entirely up to you. It helps the channel out a little bit, but they do make great cases. Next one is from Sylvana again. And it is, what is your favourite tablet so far apart from the iPad? Well, there are actually two. The HP touchpad, which we mentioned in a previous question, and probably the one that stands out most for me actually is the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. That's the one that I'm most interested in probably having a look at, and I really want to get my hands on Google Android 3 as well. So the next one is from Paul. I've just bought my first iPhone, wondered if I should jailbreak it. I see you have yours jailbroken. What are the pros and cons? Well, yeah, I did recently, a few weeks back now, I actually jailbroke my iPhone 4, and I suppose the pros are that you can personalise it a lot more. So the look of my iPhone is completely different to what it was previously. You can add some fantastic tweaks to get information on the lock screen. You can get more icons on the home screen as well. The cons that I've noticed are I did have one application that kept crashing. I found out what it was, and that's now sorted. And also it has got a little bit of a slowdown on it, but I have installed a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's great, but just be prepared to do a little bit of experimenting with the various add-ons that you install. Next one is from Darren. Are you going to review the Olympus Pen EPL2? I was going to buy the EPL1, wondered if this is worth the extra money. I have got an EPL2, it's sitting behind me in that sort of mess of review product there. So I will be reviewing it. I'll be doing an unboxing, product tour and a full review. Fantastic camera. Is it worth it over the EPL1? Well, it adds in some extra art filters. Autofocus seems to be a bit quicker. The new lens that comes in the 14 to 42 kit is also a lot quieter. It's almost silent when you're focusing for video work. So yeah, I think it's worth the extra money. Great camera, so well worth checking out. Now the next question is from Tom. He did pose another question in the same email, so I'll try and deal with them both, but I'm not going to spend too much time on the first one. He's asking, I've got an iPhone 1st gen, shall I sell it and get an HTC Wildfire or an iPhone 3G? Well, out of those two, it's not really a competition. The Wildfire's got a low-res screen. iPhone 3G would be much better for you, in my opinion. The next one is, should I save the money to get the newer Xbox 360, as my current one is having the open disk tray error a lot? Well, if your other one's going wrong, then yeah, save to get a new one. The new Xbox 360 Slim, very nice piece of kit. Microsoft did a good job on the update of that one, so it's well worth checking out. So down to our last 5 or 6 questions here, so let's go through these last few. And the next one's from Kyle. What would you like to see in the next iPhone? Not just features, but maybe a name. Any thoughts? Love the channel. Thank you very much and keep up the good work. Well, Kyle, the next iPhone. I sort of covered this in a previous question. What would I like to see is a slightly larger screen, but I'd really like Apple to sit up and take notice of some of the competition and refresh the user interface. Give us something a bit more configurable, where we can add widgets if we want, where we can change the size of icons, where we can cram that home screen full of 6x6 icons if that's what we choose. Give us that scaling ability on the UI, that would be really good. The name, it's going to be iPhone 5, they're not going to change it, so I think that's a foregone conclusion, they're going to stick with the iPhone name. Next one is sort of related, it's from Media Swift. What do you do with your old iPhones when the new one comes out? I usually give them away to members of family, keep them as backups, or if I'm really strapped for cash, then I sell them. And normally I use something like Envirophone. Dave, what's your favourite iPhone application other than the Geekanoids app? And this one's from Eddie. Well, Eddie, just a couple really. The Squarespace app that I use all the time to update the website, and TweetDeck, which I use all the time on the iPhone 4 as well. So thanks very much for that question. Next one is from Daniel. Do you think I should buy a Mac now or wait until after Lion is released with maybe newer models? Well, you don't say what Mac you're talking about. The MacBook Pro's just got upgraded. Mac Mini and MacBook are going to follow. Mac Pro maybe later in the year might get a refresh as well as the iMacs will probably get a refresh with the new Thunderbolt port. With regards to Lion, if you buy your Mac within the qualifying period, which is normally I think about 30 days, you'll get a free or a very low cost upgrade to Lion, normally where you just pay the shipping cost. But if you don't, it's not going to cost a lot to upgrade to Lion anyway. I would buy a Mac when you need it. So if you need a new Mac, buy it now. worry about Lion later. I really wouldn't factor that into my buying decision. Next one is from MediaSwift again. I'm stuck at the moment with BT, worst connection ever. I have an Airport Express connected. Does that affect speeds? It shouldn't do. Also, I'm considering changing to Sky because I have their TV service. If you change to Sky, it's still going to use the BT pipes for your broadband, so it's not going to make any difference on your speed, I wouldn't think. But Virgin has just launched in my area. What would you suggest? I can recommend nothing else other than Virgin. I'm on Virgin's 50 meg broadband. I used to be on 20 meg. Touch wood, if I can find some wood. It performs absolutely rock solid, superb download and upload speed. So if you can afford it, I would recommend going for Virgin. And the last question of this Q&A is from Rashid. Why is the iPhone still the best phone in the market, even after all the other phones have similar types of internet, more features, i.e. Android, which is also less restrictive? I think I've got a really strong idea of why it is, and I have covered it previously, but my real opinion on why this is yes, Android is less restrictive and there are some fantastic handsets out there. But if you go into a mobile phone shop and you want a smartphone and you're maybe not as tech savvy as the people who are watching this video, and you're presented with, yes sir or madam, we've got 10 Android handsets for you to choose from. They've all got different screens, different sizes, different specifications, or we've got the iPhone 4. So as a consumer, you've got to choose between 10, 12, maybe even more Android handsets, or you've got to choose one, which is an iPhone 4. It's sort of a no-brainer. People will go for the easy choice. Plus, everyone talks about the iPhone and Apple and iTunes lately. If you want something that's going to work well with your music, well with video, easy syncing, lots of applications, the App Store is always in the news, then people are going to have iPhone at the forefront of their thoughts anyway. And it really does just come down to that choice as well. If you narrow the choice down to just maybe one or two models, then it makes it a lot easier buying decisions. So I think that is the real factor as to why it's still so popular. So that concludes this Q&A session. Thank you to everyone who sends in your questions. Please do subscribe to this channel and the Geek and Noise channel. Please leave your questions in the comments and I will try and answer them in the next Q&A session, which is going to be in the first week of April. So next Q&A, first week of April. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.